morning, everyone. Welcome to our meeting today. We are short a couple of councillors this morning. I know that two are away and we're waiting the arrival of the third one. So with that, I would ask for a resolution for the adoption of the agenda, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved, the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated with the noted additions. Reception of delegations from resident letters that were received. They are 4.1 resident letter from Bunston, from Miller, Chapel, Beckett, Gautier, and Kruger, as well as new and other business 6.7 municipal office and daycare snow removal.
Thank you for that. Anybody else have any additions that they would like to see on the agenda today? Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second Councillor Belanger. Anything else that we need to amend on our agenda today?
Just that we have two councillors that are
Not present, yes.
today.
Yes. So with that, there are two councillors away, as I said earlier, and with that, I will call for the question on the adoption of the agenda. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. One more resolution, the regular meeting of council, confirmation of minutes.
Resolved that the minutes of the September 24th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any corrections, deletions, additions, amendments to the minutes from our September 24th meeting? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item on our agenda is number 4, reception of delegations, and Valley Fiber is here to present to us, and I will turn it over to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So, did you have a presentation? Did you want to?
No, not a presentation. No.
Okay.
Just what we want to do today is, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to provide an update on where we're at with the fiber build in St. Clements. So, you've seen me before many times. I'm Tom McKayer, one of the founders, Executive Director of Strategic Partners. This is Joe Matthews, our COO, in charge of all things outside production. So anyway, we have $12 million earmarked, have had since the beginning of the fiber project. We have about $5 million in the ground in the Arm St. Clements. We have $7 million that we still need to spend. It's not finite. The money does need to be put into the ground, before the end of 2025. So there is a timeline to this. We have a number of customers that are signed up, and I think the piece for us today is we're waiting for approvals from administration on building into the basically the part north of Gull Lake into Grand Marais. So it seems to be at a standstill. So we're looking to see where we're at with that and if there's any guidance from the council.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to our CAO, and we also have Public Works here, and I believe that we have had some questions about the work that has been done, so I'm going to turn it over to our CAO, and he can perhaps explain where we're at.
As you know, we've been improving everything outside of the resort areas. The resort areas is the one that's been, my understanding has been still an outstanding issue where there's been plans submitted, but we're still waiting for an overall plan for the appropriate alignments, because I think the request was to come in next to the road, which we don't allow. There was some talk about there were other municipalities that had allowed this, such as Broken Head and Springfield, and we haven't received any of that information as far as I understand. I know that Kevin's been in contact to set up a meeting so that we can work through this with you. The resort areas are obviously tricky because the roads are narrow, the properties are right up next to it. There's a lot of bush right up to those property lines, and it's difficult, I can understand, for Valley Fiber to be doing directional drilling there. But our challenge is we can't have shallow infrastructure inside our roads. And so I think that's where the challenge sits. Have I covered everything properly, Kevin?
Pretty much, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, no, I'm just going to.
Go ahead, Bob.
What
has other RMs done, allowed? To your knowledge?
Yeah, so maybe we'll just sort of back up for some context here, I suppose. I feel like this is, now we met with Deepak a few months ago, but just for introductions here, so as mentioned, my name is Joe. I basically run all the engineering operations for Valley Fiber. I came to Valley Fiber in December of last year, so about 10 months ago now.
So you're the, sorry, excuse me, did you send out a letter to all the constituents then that were saying that the RM was holding this up?
So we'll get to that in terms of the timeline. So, so I came to Valley Fiber in December of last year, about 10 months ago, to sort of help with this, with rolling out fiber across this province. I spent most of my career in telecommunications, building fiber to the home network across BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. We put a lot of fiber in the ground and in the air. My understanding is that the conversations with the RM of St. Clements started last year. It was last summer that this process sort of got rolling. Our hope was that we would have started construction in the remaining areas of St. Clements this spring and summer. Up until then, the engineering group just had not sort of had enough engagement with the decision makers, I suppose, here in the RM to get the approvals that we needed. So as the spring went on and we were struggling to sort of get information, Conley and I, as well as with Rick Queering, who is sort of a key member of our engineering and planning group, we came in back with Deepak and sort of had a chat about where we were at and what we needed, and said, look, if there's anything that the RM needs, in terms of information, in terms of demonstrations, and whatever, please let us know, and we'll work very closely with the stakeholders around us to make that happen. And so I thought we came out of that meeting with a fairly good path forward in terms of resolving the permitting situation. So over the course of the next several months, there were a number of attempts from Valley Fiber to engage with the RM to find out what the next steps are, what do we need to sort of solve this process. Multiple emails were sent, text messages, phone calls, even going as far as just having people pop in to see if we can engage with people on site. And unfortunately, we've largely just been met with silence on this, right? So the challenge that we've had is we want to work with the stakeholders here to come up with solutions that are mutually beneficial, but have struggled to get sort of response to find out what the next steps will be or what the concerns are. Because the reality is, we've built a lot of fiber in this province, a lot of fiber in the province. And so, we've gone through this motion with many different stakeholders and solving problems. Hey, I was hired to solve problems, right? That's my job. I'm the chief problem solver at the end of the day. But it's tough to solve problems when we don't have a problem statement to solve. And that's kind of what led to a point where we said, hey, we're going to have to, engage with the community and say, hey, because we are constantly getting a barrage of contacts from your constituents saying, hey, when are you going to build this? I say, I can't build it without permits. Further to that, and some of the challenges that I have here is that the route that we need to take up through my geography in Manitoba is not great yet. I'm still in a bird boy, but the route that we need to take actually takes our fiber up to up towards Victoria Beach and into other areas where we're also connecting homes. The challenge I have right now is that I have a gap, right? So without building to your constituents, first of all, it doesn't connect them to the fiber. The second problem is that I can't get my fiber up to the other areas that I need to. So either we build through these residential areas and connect people, or I have to bypass and go somewhere else. And unfortunately, we have a whole lot of residents who do not have access to fiber. So that's kind of the timeline and some of the impetus for the conversations we're having. And it's been, at times, a little bit confusing because we feel like there's been enthusiasm from people around this table about us coming to town, but we've struggled to get the answers that we need to help with this group.
Okay, Councillor Boulanger has his hand
You
up.
indicated you sent multiple emails to multiple parties. Who are they? When were they sent? You said you showed up in person. Was it at the office here? Was it at the Public Works yard?
Are you talking about my timeline? Yeah. I mean,
Just when you just indicated you sent multiple emails to no avail, and you actually popped in and still never got answers.
Yeah. Let me just. Okay, so May 5th. So this is the timeline that goes into July. So May 15th, the RM Public Works sent a list of concerns and requests about the permits. May 22nd, we responded with information and the answers to the requests and concerns. May 24th, we met with Deepak. May 28th, Sean, the RM Public Works, responded asking about roads and where Valley Fiber used plows to close the road, et cetera. June 3rd, Sean followed up regarding his previous information. 28th, June 3rd, Jordan responded with the location in Broken Head for the RMT for reference. So this is when I think there was an ask to say, well, how are you guys going to do this, and can we see it being done? So we said, okay, yeah, here's where we're doing something similar. June 11th, Andrew sent images of NLE's plow and indicated it was, that it would not be active until we receive permits in St. Clements. June 27th, Jordan emailed asking for an update. July 4th, Rick emailed RM asking for an update. July 5th, Jordan tried calling Public Works but didn't receive an answer. Now this is the timeline I had. I didn't get a timeline through the summer, but I can tell you that if I look into my phone, I can find phone call records and text messages that I sent to stakeholders around this room that I did not receive replies.
I appreciate that as well. I've got the timeline too, which says that May 25th, like, it goes back right to 2023.
Okay.
And the problem here is I think there's an understanding of communication. My understanding is Public Works has made it very, very clear that we needed to see a plan, and if there was going to be trees or anything that was going to, or where you were going to go across the roads, so that we can make sure that all our residents in those areas are aware. As discussed with you and in the meeting with me, I made a commitment that we would do whatever we could. But I needed to make sure that at least our Public Works information was dealt with, and we dealt with our residents, because residents' properties go up right to the edges of the roads in some of these areas. So you can't, we have to be careful on where somebody's going to be cutting trees or not, and if there's an opportunity. The Director of Public Works made it very clear that we needed to see a complete plan. And I think the last time you communicated with me and the message you left me, we've sent everything over to Public Works. And can we get these permits approved? I went and checked with Public Works. No, we're still waiting, because the commitment was from Public Works was to bring something back to council. So the council was completely aware of how this was going to work in the resort areas, because there are challenging areas. As we know, that's the only areas that you're having difficulty in getting the approvals, is in the resort areas, whether it's in
Gull Lake or Lakeshore Heights.
or Lakeshore Heights or Gull Lake. Patricia Beach, which has relatively easier environment, we've approved quite a long time ago. And so what I understand is that with that, Jordan did email, and we've got one where Valley Fiber has asks for updates on approved drawings. He indicated that they have been talking with Gull Lake Cottage Associations, and they haven't had any. So what it has been is that your staff have been talking to some of the Cottage Association residents, but they're not the ones who deal with complaints. It'll be council. So that's been our challenge, is to make sure that the council was aware. And if we were going to put something inside the road, we needed to make sure that that was done. Obviously, there's been some lack of communication or lack of understanding on what's needed and what's needed to be done. And so I've asked Kevin to set up a meeting to have this, and so we can resolve this. Guaranteed, we're committed to making sure that he can continue to provide this service in our community. But we have to protect our infrastructure, and we have to make sure our residents are completely aware where these issues are. Because and as we both know, we're still dealing with several resident complaints from existing situations. I've got one resident that shows up here every week. And we've asked Valley Fiber to deal with him, and that resident, we keep hearing nobody can contact him, and yet he's been able to show up here every week. I understand he's a retired individual.
Twice a week.
Twice a week. And so those are some of our challenges, and to avoid that in the cottage area, which can become even more difficult, is what we're trying to achieve. So the commitment is there from the part of the administration.
Go ahead, Councillor Borges.
And I'm getting a lot of phone calls too, particularly in the Patricia Beach area, about a guy that was going around presenting Valley Fiber. He was working for you. His name was Artie. Well, he worked for you guys. He was selling your product out there, promised a whole bunch of people that they were gonna get free for signing up, they were gonna get so many months free, and then a discounted rate, and then they never got anything. I can bring you the people's names that he went around to. This individual, who I know quite well, who contacted me, one in particular, she said that she contacted your office and talked to you guys about it, and nothing was done. So, and then all the stuff about when you guys go do something on somebody's lawn, like Deepak was saying, there's no cleanup, they phone, nobody gets back to them, so. But I'm letting you know this, because you're the problem solver, so maybe you
Yeah.
can get this stuff.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, when we come through and do this kind of construction, it is just disruptive to the community. I can tell you, so when I lived in Calgary, and TELUS was building fiber to the home, they came through my neighborhood. In fact, it was my company that was doing it.
Well, they just did it in Winnipeg, where I have a home, on, I guess it's Bell MTS.
Mhm.
They just did all the work there, and it wasn't disruptive at all.
Well, and so I guess my point is, when you come through, it is disruptive, and there's heavy equipment, and there's excavations, and there's hydrovacs, and all these sorts of things. So it is a disruptive process to go through, and especially in a very dense urban environment in the city of Calgary where I live. So I'm very familiar with sort of what the resident experience is. Doing it in some of these more rural or, not as urban environments, it is different, but nevertheless, it's impacting to the residents for sure. One of the commitments that I have made to other councils as well is, hey, like I do want to hear about these things, and I did give my phone number to the RM. In fact, I believe that there was a contact back in the summertime when somebody from this building sent me a note and said, hey, can we help resolve this issue? And I believe we did. I believe we got that issue resolved very quickly. I don't remember the details of it now. But I did make my commitment to DPAC that we would, that we would respond and do what we needed to do. Now, I can't solve problems that I don't know about, right? If there are still outstanding issues, I'm not aware of any outstanding issues today of restoration that needs to be done. I also would probably make the argument that if there's individuals out there that have issues, I don't know that that's necessarily a reason to stop an entire build and permitting the rest of it. You're saying that you need a plan. I believe we submitted plans, design drawings of how we were going to build and where we were going to build. If there are specific issues with the design parameters or assumptions that the RM or Public Works had issues with, again, we can work through those. But I'm not aware of a list of requirements or questions or concerns that Public Works had with their design, giving us an opportunity to resolve it. It may be that if the property lines come very close to the roadway, it might be a little uncomfortable that we have to sneak through there, right? We have directional drills, there's ways of doing the construction that minimizes the disruption to the community, but at the end of the day, when we have limited right of way, we gotta use it. If there are specific examples of what we need to do to get these designs approved, then let's do it, but that's what we've been trying to do over the course of the summer. It's unfortunate, I think, that it's taking us to this point here in the middle of October, because I've lost an entire construction season, right? I had wanted to get these issues resolved back in May and June so we could have still constructed this year. I've lost the year, right? And to be quite transparent, it puts now Valley Fiber under some very significant financial distress because I can't connect all the rest of the customers that I have no without building a bypass down the highway, which at this point in time I may have to do because I can't connect everybody else that's waiting for fiber until I make this clear.
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Is there miscommunication between like your staff or who was supposed to take these calls and react to them? You said you're not aware, but you should be, I would think, or you have somebody in charge that, because over the years we have had quite a few people phoning that, you've gone and done the job, but it was never remediated, the ditch or whatever. There's always, and we've had lots of calls of that. So I'm just wondering, like, why you said you're not aware. Isn't there some miscommunication here somewhere amongst your staff or who's in charge of that? You should be, I would think, though, that you were aware of that, or should be, to get it resolved.
As of today, in this moment, if there's any remediation issues that are outstanding that have not been resolved or addressed, I'm not aware of any as of today, because I spoke with my team about that exact thing today. I said, guys and gals, I'm about to sit in front of a group of people, and they're gonna ask me that question. I'm, as of right now, not aware of any remediation issues that are out there.
Go ahead, Councillor Desrow.
Yeah, you mentioned property lines and crossing and stuff like that. It's, the complaints I got is more so the ditches even, that people tend to take possession of them and they ruin them and everything else and they can't get at them. So, yeah, I can see that being pushed back a bit because it's really not their property.
It's
But
not,
it's still, the calls were there.
it's not uncommon for residents, property owners, to assume that their property line extends. We ran into this issue this year in other RMs where farmers farm the ditch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've got to send our plows through those ditches. The farmers are not happy about it, but at the same time, they get to farm year after year after year after year and collect crop off that. So if one year they don't get a crop, it's unfortunate. It often happens in these situations as well, where people think their property line goes to here. They
It's
get
not that they
crops.
think it does, they just kind of take possession.
Sure.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
take
sure.
possession of it,
Yeah.
yeah. Councillor Boulanger, go ahead.
Just more of the question at hand here, what we're dealing with in terms of timelines and what should have happened and what we talked about happening. Were drawings ever submitted? I think I heard they were, or what we were asking for was submitted, was?
Not the entire plan, just the drawings were submitted. We said, where was the
We wanted a
plan?
whole plan.
And there was some information that Kevin needed. That can be corrected, and I think we can resolve that as part of this. I think I want to address a couple of things. One is, there's been a level of, our public works has adopted a level of additional due diligence, mainly because of some of the challenges that have been encountered in the previous installations. And that's why they've been hesitant on some of the approvals, and we've had some of those discussions with council here already, which is that when work was being done, and I fully understand this, it's difficult to have site supervision in a large rural municipality. And because of the lack of site supervision, we don't encounter these problems or get informed of them till much after. Usually after their subcontractors have completed the work and have moved on, and we're finding it 2 months later or a month later, and then we get the complaints from the neighbors and so forth. And so we're getting, and Public Works is getting inundated with calls from people saying, it's your responsibility, why aren't you managing this? So that they're adopting a sense. The other issue has been that some of the subcontractors, not all, some of the subcontractors have not necessarily put the services where it was indicated on the drawings. And then that becomes an issue because the as-bills are not available and we're not confident where that is. So they've been applying an extra level of due diligence. Understand that this has caused some consternation on both sides, and I apologize for that, and that's why we're going to set up a meeting with them to resolve this. Guaranteed, I think it would be appropriate that we would set up a meeting and maybe even have Valley Fiber come back in a month to make sure that we're communicating effectively on both sides.
What I'm hearing here is that there's been a reluctance to approve my design drawings because there's a concern that there might be escalations down the road. That to me is a little bit troublesome because
No, that's not what I said. There's a concern that the drawings are going to be followed and the information that's been provided is complete. Right now, from my understanding, is not all that information is complete. There was some discussions, I understand, that occurred about the work at Broken Head, but that has still to be verified. Am I correct?
No, we did inspect the work that was done in Broken Head.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what's outstanding at this point?
So, like, we had met with Valley Fiber approximately 4 times in person with exchanges of emails. And one of our big issues was getting some sort of information to the public, showing them what could cause, like, for construction damage, how many trees would need to be removed, how many residents are actually interested in hooking up in the area, and then come up with that plan to essentially present to you guys, right? One of the big struggles is when I met several times with Valley Fiber in those areas was the first time we got design drawings, there was no site visit. So when we looked at it, there was challenges there. So okay, Valley Fiber went back to the drawing board and proposed us new drawings. Now those new drawings were basically shown in the shoulder of the road or in our roadworks, which is something we didn't want. Now discussions with Valley Fiber was, well, we don't want to remove a bunch of trees. So we were going back and forth and saying, well, what are you guys going to propose that's going to work? And then that's kind of this limbo that we've been in. So.
Can I ask a question? So when were those meetings and discussions had?
I have them all on a timeline there that I sent to Deepak. This was going back to when I met with Harmon on site back in August of last year.
Of last year?
Yeah.
As well as there was a meeting with Jordan for new site drawings for review on June 13th.
So then
there was a discussion July 7th.
There's been a lot of miscommunication between your contractors and Valley Fiber, like you guys yourself, because I was being told by Rick and Harmon several times that everything in Gull Lake was going to be directionally drilled. I meet on site, talk to NLU and Valley Fiber with Harmon on site, and NLU's like, no, there's no way we're directional drilling all this because of all the rocks and sand. We want to plow it. So there's been a lot of back and forth.
So the permits that are being issued are not being issued to NLU or any other contractor. They're being issued to Valley Fiber. It's up to Valley Fiber to determine how the design is going to be done and built. So I don't know if I don't think it's relevant what NLU said in the site visit.
Well, we never invited.
Respectfully, I would disagree. As part of our due diligence, when somebody that's doing the work tells our staff that they're going to plow into a road, we're going to be concerned and we're going to need some verification from the contractor, from the builder. There's no difference between that and if I had an inspector showing up on a property and somebody.
I'm the builder, not a Valley
But
Fiber.
if the people that are doing the work are saying they're going to do it in a different fashion than what's been communicated to us, we would go back to the builder and say, prove to us you're not going to do it that way.
Well, the conversation though, the permits are being issued to Valley Fiber. So the conversation is with Valley Fiber. And if the RM says this is how we need it to be done, I say 2 thumbs up, this is how it's going to be done, and I instruct my contractor how to do the work. So that's why I'm pushing a little bit on saying, well, there might be input from a contractor. There's times that we do constructability reviews that include stakeholders who will be engaged in the actual construction. And we put our heads together to figure out the best way, the least disruptive, the most economical way to do a build. The challenge I'm having with this though is that those conversations that are being referenced were in 2023.
No, this is
And
2024.
2024.
It started in 2023,
Yeah.
right? There's been a back and forth. We met in May. There were then there was basically radio silence through the month of July. We were June and July. There was a few exchanges, but I don't believe there's been a time when the RM has come to us with a direct set of specifications that says, these are the things that we're concerned about. This is what we need to see in the plan. When you say you need to know the plan, we have design products. That is the plan. All right? If we want to have a conversation about, well, hey, what about these trees? What about these berms? What about these culverts? Whatever. More than happy to do it. My challenge is that we tried to set time with stakeholders that are involved to make this happen. Valley Fiber has certainly not been withholding the information. We have been almost begging to get this dialogue.
Comment?
Go ahead, Councilor Boulanger.
I'm still a little confused here, and I'm not confused, but I'm still hearing. Our public works manager said when he went to Gull Lake to discuss the issue, he talked to the contractor there.
And Valley Fiber.
And Valley Fiber, and the contractor who was doing the work said, nope, we're going to dig it, we're going to plow it. And public works manager said, it's not what it said, it's supposed to be directional drilled. Then radio silence happened because they're trying to figure it out. So on one hand, I'm hearing that you guys deal with it right away, but yet in that instance, like that very particular instance, when he went there, of course, that's when work's gonna stop, because there's banging of heads. We're gonna dig, no, you said you're gonna have a directional drill. So, it's just kind of all over, like one hand's talking to the other. Are you saying you're communicating? Our public works manager goes there and says he talked to the construction crew on the ground as somebody from Valley Fiber, and there's a discrepancy on digging and plowing? Well, of course it's gonna stop. It's gonna stop dead right there.
But I'm talking about the designs that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that particular case. If you're wondering why things are stopping, in my rational mind sitting here as a person just listening to this, I can see it's gonna stop dead in its tracks right there. Because he went there and said, what are you doing? We're gonna dig. Well, no, you're not gonna dig. You're supposed to directional drill. And then he said, from there, it stopped. Because someone had to go talk to somebody about, what are you doing here then?
Okay, so, and maybe I'm confused. Are we talking about being on site for work that was being constructed, or are we talking about being on site for work that we were looking for approvals on?
Looking for approvals on, sounds like to me.
Right. So that's why I want to be clear, because what I'm hearing here is that you had a site meeting to talk about methodology to get designs approved. I'm sorry, Councilor Donger, what I'm hearing from you is, well, yeah, if Public Works is there and says, don't do that, I don't think we're talking about that.
It stopped that.
No, but the actual, it wasn't like there were drills and plows.
No,
on site.
but that's where what I'm getting at is there's processes stopped at each point of the leg here, and then there's radio silence. That's the reason, is because when you go and do something, then they gotta figure it out, it stops at that
So I
point.
think that's what we've been trying, with mines to try and set up meetings to discuss all those things that we haven't had any kind of reply back on when can we actually have that meeting? When can we not have this meeting here today? Why could we not have had this 3 months ago? Right after the May 24th meeting. That's, I think, where we've been having a challenge.
Okay, Councillor Gorgas, go ahead.
I remember one of our meetings here with Public Works a while back, and we had asked Kevin about this, and Kevin had said when he met with Valley Fiber out there, whoever it was, your representative and the contractor, and when they talked about directional drilling, they said there was no way they were gonna do that, it would cost too much money. And I remember hearing that here, sitting around here saying that. So, as you were saying, Rob, that's when everything stopped.
But to be clear, St. Clements is issuing a permit to Valley Fiber.
To be,
So if the RM says to me, we will issue this permit contingent on this construction methodology, perfect.
So part of that too, sorry to interrupt, is
That's okay.
based on what I was here, I understand, like, okay, fine, we can take NLU's word with a grain of salt, but if Valley Fiber is telling me it's gonna be directionally drilled and I have questions as to what's happening when you're hitting rocks, what are you doing with like the sandy conditions, like what are you gonna be your fractal procedures, all these other questions that I had, and then NLU's like, but no, like that's very difficult, those are good reasons why we don't wanna drill it, and we wanna plow it. So that's where I'm like, okay, well, either you provide me the information on how you're going to directionally drill it, or you're going to provide me information how you're going to plow it. That information was never supplied.
Have you sent that request in writing?
In 4 meetings, that's been discussions I've had with Valley Fiber, as well as there's some email correspondence, yes.
But has there been an email, a request that says, hey, in order for us to move forward, here are the 4 things that I need to see? Or whatever, 3 things, 5 things.
We can go hard, fast rules like that, but before we were trying to work together on some of this stuff, for example, meeting on site for 3 times or 4 times of meetings to discuss these types of issues, to try and make it work for us and our residents and as well as you. But if you want to go and say, okay, we'll make hard, fast rules, that's what we'll do.
So I'm asking if it was sent, if the requests and the specifications were sent in writing, or it was just a conversation.
I appreciate what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I'll see if I can try to summarize here. Look, we're committed to working with you. There was a commitment to go on site that we don't do a lot with a lot of other suppliers. The plans are submitted, we review them, and we don't like them, and it's not an issue. In this one, we understood this, so there are 2 parts to this, and let's make sure that we understand those. We have been constantly improving everywhere else except for the resort areas because that was a challenged area. It was communicated back in May. In June and July, there was communication with your staff and with people on site where our staff did attend. Yes, since August, September, there has been really no communication on either side, or at least back from us, and we are committed to doing a meeting with you. Now, let's be clear. One of the issues is, I appreciate we're giving you the permit, but we're fixing the issues after the fact. I just mentioned earlier, one of our challenges is that there's no way that we can expect you to have people on site supervising during construction because we find some of these problems out after. In the resort areas, we said that we needed an additional level of due diligence because of the challenges that are there. And because of that, we wanted to make sure that something can be done with the proper plans that can be communicated. So council knew because they get all the calls after the fact or during the construction. By then, it's too late. It's past experience is an indicator for future works. So there has been challenges at NLU, you and I both know those, and there's been challenges where work has been done that has not matched anywhere near the plans that were submitted, which the permits were issued for. So if a contractor came to me and we gave them a permit to do something, and they didn't follow that plan, what would be my recourse? And that's what we're gonna try to work this out with you. So we'll put forward a proposal. Kevin's already made the request, I understand, last week. We will make a request to meet with you and work through these details and then work out a set of communications that says clearly these are our expectations on these. And when something happens, we'll have to make sure that there's some level of ramifications for your subcontractors when they're not meeting some of those requirements. It's easy to say, well, I'm giving you the license, we'll make sure it's done. And then we find out after the fact that the subcontractor is directional drilling or is not directional drilling, is plowing. So all of those things need to be addressed. That's the issue.
On May 27th, we sat in our office and I gave you,
Yes.
I looked at
You
you
gave me
and
a
gave you a commitment that I would pay special attention to this build
Yep.
to ensure that it was done in a way that met my standards and my values. I mean,
August 7th, we had a directional drill through a sewer line.
So here's the
And
thing.
it was communicated to us, we don't go down that deep.
So we've passed Valley Fiber so far, we've passed, I think, what the latest number is, close to 60,000 homes across this province. Right? We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of fiber in the ground. We've done this pretty darn successfully, I think, over the last several years. And we've got a lot of experience dealing with councils, and we've got a lot of experience dealing with customers and residents, and sometimes there's gonna be some angry residents. That's definitely part of this job. And unfortunately, it's a big part of my job is helping to, helping people through this process. I don't know what more I can do than to give my commitment in my leadership role to saying, hey, to do this build, it's gonna get special due attention from me and my leadership team. So that's part one. Part two is, I also don't know that I can, deny a permit because there might be an issue with an as-built or because there might be an issue with a customer. That unfortunately doesn't quite, unfortunately we just sometimes have to roll the dice and say we're gonna do the job unless there's gonna be problems. Yes, there was a sewer line that was hit. Unfortunately, sewer lines don't get located, all right? That's not part of the first call system, they don't locate them. And I unfortunately have had the misfortune of dealing with sewer line hits in the past. When I was running my family's business for many years, we actually tagged them. And sometimes you don't know about it until it's in their basement, right? This does happen. That sewer situation was resolved, to my understanding. These things will happen. It's an unfortunate part of doing construction, but we mitigate it. As far as the resort areas go, we're launching our build up in Victoria Beach. Look, if anybody has restrictions on working in resort areas, it's Victoria Beach, and we've been able to successfully work with the council up there to figure out ways to work in the least disruptive way as possible. My commitment has been here all along. The challenge that we've had is just the lack of communication. Deepak, I'm sorry to say, but I got the text messages here.
I know.
texted you on July the 12th and again on August the 6th, and I didn't receive any. All I needed was for somebody to say, hey, this is what we need from you, right? I looked you in the eye and gave you a commitment, I'll look you in the eye today and give you the same commitment.
Okay, I'm gonna try and wrap it up here. I think what the municipality is prepared to do is to sit down with you folks again, put together a plan so that we can move forward. And I know myself, I have gotten over the last few days, because people have seen on our agenda that there are a number of people out there that have written and said that they want the service. We are committed to have you work with us, but I think there has to be more communication. And if Public Works wants you to not directional drill, then that's what you have to do. You have to abide by the rules that the municipality is setting out. I know that I have also had complaints in other areas where you have worked that the cleanup has not been so great. And I have forwarded those to the office. So I think for today, there is a commitment for Kevin and Deepak and whoever else Kevin may need to sit down with you folks and work out a path forward. And if I'm misspeaking, if you could please correct me, Deepak.
You know I'm speaking. Direction from council is to work something
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. We're wanting to work something out with you folks. Council wants you to provide the service to our residents, because I know that there are a number of residents that do need the service. They don't want to pay for Starlink anymore and things like that. So the sooner the meeting can be held, the better. And I'm going to leave it up to Deepak and Kevin to put that together with you folks.
That'd be fantastic. And time is of the essence, and the reason I say that is because I have to make a decision. Am I bypassing this and spending money to do a bypass route? Because right now I can't connect any of my customers in the north until I get that link done. Now, as it
And where is
stands,
that? Where are you talking about there that you might have to bypass?
which region is that? Yeah, show me a map, because I don't know my geography well enough.
So that's Gull Lake.
Yeah?
So anything north of Gull Lake, so the bypass would be.
Okay. So rather than
Really,
come,
what we need to do is come in here and service
Right.
these folks.
okay,
That's the route that fiber's gonna make to get up to the north, to
Right.
those more northern regions.
Right.
And if I,
And then it would come back up and
and up to Vic Beach.
the problem is right now, what I have is I had planned to build this section this year.
Right.
Which means that all of my Victoria Beach customers and all those customers in Alexander, I can't light them up until I make a connection.
Right.
I'm trying to make a deal right now with Manitoba Infrastructure to allow me to run a temporary overland link. But that's not ideal, because I gotta try to figure out a way to run pipe through the bushes and not have snowmobiles and all the rest of it.
Right. Well, I guess I'm gonna suggest that Deepak
Set up a
will,
meeting for next week.
will set up a meeting, and he's saying right now for next week. And we will let you folks work together with Kevin and Public Works and Deepak, and hopefully we can get this resolved in the next couple of weeks and you can move forward.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks for your time.
Okay. Okay, so, are we going just to communications for action?
Yes, Madam Mayor?
Okay, thank you. So communications for action, number 5 on our agenda. The first item is the FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the Sustainable Communities Conference, and that is in February in New Brunswick. And I think Deepak has it up on the screen here, so interested in going, anyone?
I would have liked to have gone, but I'll be away at that time.
Okay,
I had expressed interest earlier.
and I'm going to go, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I've always really enjoyed the Sustainable Communities Conference, and I'm glad they brought it back.
Just be prepared for
Yes, I know, very cold weather in
Yeah.
New Brunswick.
I'll be somewhere
Except
lots of
for-
snow.
So, okay, so it looks like Glenn and myself.
Yes.
I I'm not sure, what about Sandra and Scott? Should we bring it back for the next meeting
I
if
would.
everybody's back?
Or I can just come here and council, and then I'll just get in touch with them if you want.
We can pass the resolution as mayor, Fiebel and council, and then,
Okay.
and then see who else is interested. This way, yourself and Councilor Bass-Roach are guaranteed to go, and then we can start booking the rooms as soon as possible.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan, so if you want to bring the resolution forward.
So resolved, Mayor Fiebel, and council be authorized to attend the FCM Sustainable Communities Conference at the Fredericton Convention Center in Fredericton, New Brunswick on February 11th to the 13th, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any other comments, questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. I was keeping this to the next one we have is the AMM conference, which is at the end of November, and this year it is in Winnipeg. I'm not sure who put down that they want to go. I see Councillor Horbus still has his list on his desk. So, again, I would just make it Reeve and Council, or Mayor and Council, because of the two people being away, and it's not it's not that far away anymore, really, so.
So resolve, Mayor Fiebel, and council be authorized to attend the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Annual Fall Convention at the RBC Convention Center, Winnipeg, Manitoba, on November 25th and 27th, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, graduation fundraiser. Who is able to attend this one? It is on the, I think it's next week, the 16th. Yeah. Who is able to attend? I am not able to go. That is the same night as our regular planning meeting, so if it's possible for someone else to attend, I would appreciate that very much.
I can't, they're shooting a movie at our place there.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I'll just some go.
To resolve, Councillor David Horbus be authorized to attend the Lord Selkirk Education Center Adult Learning Center graduation fundraiser at the Royal Canadian Legion, Selkirk, Manitoba, on October 16, 2024.
can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second. Councillor Sutherland, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay.
That was calling me. That was the movie shoot.
Oh, for this weekend,
Yes.
for Friday night?
I meant to give her a response back for Monday.
Oh. Okay, 5.3, St. Nicholas Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the 120th anniversary on November the 3rd in Garson. I am going to go to that one. Is anybody else interested in going?
You got Ukrainian, you kind of Ukrainian.
Well, I'm kind of thinking that Councillor Strang might want to go, so I'm not sure if we should just put mayor and council on that one also.
We can. So, resolved, Mayor Fiebel and council be authorized to attend the St. Nicholas Ukrainian Orthodox Church Honor 120th anniversary dinner at the Garson Community Centennial Center, Garson, Manitoba, on November 3rd, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, second, please. Councillor Bazarowicz. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Beaches of 59.
Yes, they are planning an ambassador meet and greet session on Sunday, October 27th at between 2 to 4 in the Sage Ballroom at the South Beaches Casino and Resort, and are inviting council to attend.
Any interest in that one to go? Who else would like to go, or should we just make it again mayor and council in case
Yeah,
Councillor Spicer or Councillor Strang may want to go? I think they're both back.
Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and council be authorized to attend the Beaches of 59 Ambassador meet and greet at the Stage Ballroom at South Beach Casino and Resort on October 27, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, second, please. Councillor Horbis, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Do you know what time that is on the 16th, Heather?
It's Bud Spud. Can't you put it up on your screen?
On the 16th, which one are we talking about?
I
No,
was looking for a time on that.
Education Center.
Yeah, I was looking, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I thought it was there. Can you pull that one up?
Which one are we talking about? The
Five.
graduation fundraiser?
Yeah, 5-3.
They didn't put a time, so I'll have to.
Yeah, I didn't see a time, I was looking cost, there's a cost, there's what they want you to do, but
Maybe 6 PM. Because they're asking if you could speak at for approximately 2 minutes at 6 PM. So I'll get a time.
who's speaking?
So 6 p.m. on-
You,
I can prepare a 2-minute speech for your council.
yeah, it doesn't.
I would say you should to be there at 5:30, quarter to 6. It starts at 6 if they're asking you to start speaking at 6.
Okay,
What if I have more for 2 minutes?
Could you prepare a half-hour speech?
I'm not sure whether they have music playing to encourage you to stop.
Half
Or a
hour.
hook.
Can I
okay.
bring a date or what?
You probably could.
You doing anything there, Dave, or?
I gotta wash my socks after.
Okay, let's get back to it here. 5.6, Selkirk Biz, the awards banquet.
Yes, Madam Mayor?
I have a couple of questions on that. It was kind of strange because I did get a phone call asking if we were going to support an award, as we had done previous years, but we had gotten no information when it was anything about the awards period.
no, but then didn't we get a thank you for the monetary donation?
We did, because we passed the monetary donation
Yeah.
to support the Community Spirit Award at the last meeting. And then, just the other day, I think this was in addition to the agenda, we got the invitation to attend the event. But in the meantime, when I was going through my agenda the other day, I looked on the Selkirk Biz website, and it does not show us as a member, only as a sponsor. And I'm not sure why that would be, because I was sure we are members.
We are
Like,
members.
do you go to the I think it's
Yeah.
yourself, you
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
meetings? Yeah, see, and all the other municipalities are listed as members, but we're not.
Do we not pay to be a member?
I don't know. Maybe that's something that the office can check, maybe we didn't pay our membership for this year, I'm not sure. But in any event, I guess they are looking, I will be presenting the award, and they're gonna give me the speech for whoever the winner is for the Community Spirit Award. But I guess my question more than anything else, is anybody else interested in going to the banquet? Because I know that we usually have a table
I
there.
put my name down.
Okay.
What's the date on that again?
October the 17th, which is next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm away at that conference.
What kind of conference are you going to?
Disaster management.
What's that?
Disaster
Oh,
management.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rob, you'll go to the, anybody else wanting to go to that? I don't know when Sandra's back.
Maybe Dave, someone was saying one thing.
Sandra usually goes.
Yeah, Sandra, we usually have a table, that's why I asked.
You in your underwear that day?
No, she won't be back. You guys, we're being recorded.
We have paid for the Selkirk Biz Parade, $500
Okay,
through grants.
right. and then the membership.
as well as the membership, from my understanding.
Okay.
So we do pay to be a member.
Yes.
I'll send an email and ask why we're not in as a member.
Yeah, like I just found it very odd because I got a phone call asking if we were going to sponsor to start with, and I'm thinking like we normally do, so I'm not sure what's happening. I will go because I am presenting an award, so Rob, you're going to go,
Yeah.
I'll go. I don't believe Sandra is back. Councillor Horbis, are you interested in going?
No.
Okay. Deepak, you want to
So
go?
it was on October 17th.
That's a week from Thursday.
If you want me to, Madam Mayor, I can certainly attend.
It's entirely up to you. Let's leave it up to you. Councillor Boulanger and I will go though.
Okay, well, we don't need a resolution for myself, and I
Okay.
will attend, sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
On Thursday? Okay, I think I can attend. Resolved, Mayor People Court and Council be authorized to attend the Suffolk Biz Awards banquet at the Suffolk Golf and Country Club in Suffolk, Manitoba, October 17, 2024. This should cover anyone who may, including Sandra as well as.
Right, I'm not sure that she's back yet. Okay, Councillor Horbis is moving, Councillor Bazarovich is seconding, all in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, I need to take 2 minutes, please.
So we could.
We'll shut the camera off.
I just need to go get coffee.
Recording stopped.
The recording I'm doing is for Sandra and Scott,
Right.
who wanted to see the stuff